Hi, third graders, it's Miss Ashby. Our lesson focus today is elapsed time. Last week, you worked with Mrs. Dar on some elapsed time problems. You worked to think about what is elapsed time, and then you worked to use a number line to find elapsed time. Well, today I want to do the same thing with you. I want to review what elapsed time is, and then I want to talk about what might happen when you're doing an elapsed time problem that's missing the start time or missing the end time. So today I'm going to talk you through some strategies or some ways that you might go about solving those problems. To review, let's talk about what elapsed time is. Elapsed time is the time between two events. So for example, Miss Ashby started watching Trolls 2 at 9 o'clock. It ended at 10:30. The time between when the movie began and ended is the elapsed time. So the time that I sat down and watched this movie, I would recommend it. It was a very good movie. The time that I sat down and watched the movie would be the elapsed time. When we go about finding elapsed time, here is a strategy that you might choose to use, and this is the strategy that we're going to work with today as mathematicians. So when you go to find elapsed time, the first thing that you need to do is to create a number line. You put your start and end time on the number line. The example below is one from Mrs. Dar's lesson last week. You'll notice that at the beginning of her number line, she has the time 7:15. At the end of her number line, she has the time 9 o'clock. From there, Mrs. Dar worked to make reasonable hops or jumps from the start time to the end time. After she finished doing that, she added those hops and jumps together to find her total elapsed time. So in this example, Mrs. Dar started with 7:15. She made the hop of 15 minutes. 15 plus 15 makes 30. So then she got to the time of 7:30. From 7:30, she made a hop of 30 minutes. 30 plus 30 makes 60, which would get us to the next hour of 8 o'clock. From 8 o'clock, she made a hop of 1 hour to 9 o'clock to get to that elapsed time of 1 hour. When you combine all three of those numbers up together, so your 1 hour, your 30 plus 15 makes 45, you get the total elapsed time of 1 hour and 45 minutes. When we're thinking about elapsed time, we have to focus on three different parts. So we focus on the start time, we focus on the end time, and we focus on the elapsed time, the time that happens between those events. Today, we're going to look at a video of a mathematician who is really focusing on what the problem is asking. So when you go to solve some elapsed time problems on your own, you as a mathematician have to decide, am I looking to figure out what my start time is? Am I looking to figure out what my end time is? Or am I looking to figure out how much time has passed between two events? We're going to take a look at this video together. As we watch this video, I want you to also be focusing on what is the problem asking and how can I go about solving this? If you get stuck later today during your independent practice, I would recommend coming back to this slide, clicking this link, and watching the video again. I think it might help you better understand what your problem is asking for.
So the problem here, it says Micah watches his sister's piano recital. The recital starts at 12:45 p.m. and lasts 1 hour and 17 minutes. What time does the recital end? So some important information in the problem tells us that it starts at 12:45 p.m. So that's our start time. It lasts 1 hour and 17 minutes. That's our elapsed time. That's how much time passes between when the recital starts and when it ends. Our question asks, what time does the recital end? So we are looking for the end time. So we can use the number line to help us. So I'm going to put 12:45 over here at the beginning. And I know it goes for 1 hour and 17 minutes. So I'm going to start by making a 1 hour jump. So I know that 1 hour later is going to be 1:45. If the minute hand goes all the way back around, it's going to end up at 1:45 again. So that is 1 hour. Then it goes 1 hour and 17 minutes. Well, jumping up 17 minutes is a little bit complicated, so I'm going to break that apart. I know if I'm at 1:45 in 15 minutes, it'll be 2 o'clock. So I'm going to make a jump of 15 minutes. Now I need to go 2 more minutes. So that's going to be a little jump. So that's 2 minutes. And 2 minutes after 2 o'clock would be 2:02. It's still p.m. It's not going to end at 2 o'clock in the morning. So our answer would be 2:02 p.m. It's a little messy. Hopefully you can read that. Okay, another problem. Sam's class spends an hour and 40 minutes on language arts. They stop at 1:50 p.m. What time do they start? So they spend an hour, so and that means 1 hour and 40 minutes. So that's important. 1 hour and 40 minutes. They stop at 1:50 p.m. And the question asks, what time do they start? So now we're looking for the start time. So if it ends at 1:50 p.m., I want to put that on this side of my number line. And I'm going to be going backwards. So I'm going to start by going backwards 1 hour. 1 hour is easier jumps to make. So if I go back 1 hour, it's going to be 12:50. Then I need to go back another 40 minutes. So 50 minus 40 is 10. So that would be at 12:10. So that's 40 minutes. So my answer would be 12:10. It's going to be p.m. Remember, if we're talking about 12 p.m., that's lunchtime.
Now we're going to take all of that information and all of those strategies and think about some events that might happen where we have to practice finding elapsed time. So today I'm going to read you a story called Scaredy Squirrel Has a Birthday Party. I'm not going to read you the whole thing. We'll stop after we hear what Scaredy Squirrel's birthday routine is, and we'll start to think about those elapsed time, what happens between those two events, and then we'll go and practice some of those strategies on a number line together. Warning, Scaredy Squirrel insists that everyone put on earmuffs before reading this book. Scaredy Squirrel never has big birthday parties. He'd rather celebrate alone quietly up in his tree than party below and risk being taken by surprise. A few surprises Scaredy Squirrel is afraid of could spoil the party. Bigfoot, confetti, clownfish, ants, ponies, porcupines. So he plans a small celebration where he's the only life of the party. Birthday party checklist. Confirm date of birth. Pick a safe location. Choose party colors. Get tuxedo dry cleaned. Prepare cake recipe. Practice breathing to blow up balloons and blow out candles. Mail party invitation to myself. Scaredy Squirrel heads down to mail his invitation. He pauses when he spots a card tucked inside his mailbox. Roses are red, violets are blue. I just had to be the first to wish a happy birthday to you. Sincerely, Buddy. Scaredy gives it some thought. He decides that a kindly gesture deserves a kindly response, so he changes the invitation. But inviting a guest is one risky move. A few last-minute items Scaredy needs to throw a party at ground level. Safety goggles, carrot, deck of cards, earmuffs, cookies, Beethoven statue, rented party tent. Fishing rod. Birthday, party of 2, plan. Send invitation to Buddy on the fly. Party was up here. Confetti gets out of control. Keep it away by celebrating undercover. Bigfoot is a huge party crasher. Build a house of cards so he stomps on that instead of the tent. To avoid being taken for a ride, attach carrot to fishing rod to lure away ponies. Ants are no picnic. They eat everything in their path. These party poopers will hit the road when they come across a tasty trail of cookies. Porcupines and balloons, need I say more? If disaster pops up, think fast. Put on goggles and earmuffs. Clownfish have tricks up their sleeves and are no laughing matter. Humor them with a hard-headed guest who will never crack a smile. Note to self, if all else fails, play dead and cancel the party. Important, the secret to a successful party is all in the details. Detail 1. Select conversation topics for small talk. Good idea. How about that great weather we've been having? So, do you come here often? If you were a tree, what type of tree would you be? Before we shake paws, have you been checked for fleas? These are the bad ideas. They say mints help fight bad breath. Psst, be my guest. Is that a muskrat on your head? Oops, it's a toupee. Detail 2. Determine the do's and don'ts of partying. Do, sit quietly. Don't, spill anything. Surprise the birthday squirrel. Listen to loud music. Eat too many sweets. Break dance. Double dip. Play piñata games. Okay, third graders, here is where we have to start to think about the time in between Scaredy Squirrel's events at his birthday party. We're going to stop after these 2 pages, but if you're interested in continuing this story, you can click the link on my slide and continue reading it on your own on Epic. After we finish reading Scaredy Squirrel's schedule, we're going to then think about how we could help Scaredy Squirrel plan his birthday party. 1 o'clock p.m., serve punch. 1:01, look out for. 1:03 p.m., serve dip. 1:06 p.m., brush teeth. 1:09, make small talk. 1:19, play a quiet game of dominoes. 1:24, look out for. 1:26, locate fire extinguisher. 1:27, bring out cake. 1:28, take a breath and blow out candle. 1:29, look out for. 1:31, eat cake. 1:35, brush teeth. 1:38, read thank yous. 1:40, look out for. 1:42, sit quietly. 2 o'clock, the party is over. 2:01, start planning next year's birthday. So the time in between each of those events would be your elapsed time. It looks like Scaredy Squirrel's birthday party routine is pretty serious. It's pretty strict, and each event doesn't last too long. However, if you decide to read this book on your own later, you'll see that some hiccups happen in Scaredy Squirrel's birthday party, and it doesn't go as it is planned. Today, we're going to be thinking about two different problems in planning Scaredy Squirrel's birthday party. These problems are either going to be missing the end time or the start time. Today, I'm going to show you a website that you could use as a whiteboard to figure out some elapsed time word problems. However, if you don't want to use this app and it doesn't work well for you at home, a piece of paper or your own whiteboard at home would work well as well. So here's our first problem. Sometimes we don't always have our end time. We use the start time and elapsed time to figure it out. Scaredy Squirrel started cleaning up his birthday party at 2:05. That's his start time. We need that information. He cleaned for 1 hour and 15 minutes. Well, that's our elapsed time. What time did he finish cleaning? Here is how we could solve it. We have our start time. We have our elapsed time. As mathematicians, we have to use those 2 things to figure out what our end time is. My first step is to create a number line. I know that on the left side of my number line, I put my start time. We know our start time in this problem. Our start time is 2:05. We also know our elapsed time. Our elapsed time is 1 hour and 15 minutes. Now we're going to begin by making those reasonable hops or those reasonable jumps to get to our end time. So I know I'm going to start with this 1 hour. I find it easy to jump by hours. I'm going to make notes on my number line because it's very easy to forget when you're doing this work as a mathematician on your own. 1 hour past 2:05, I just need to go up 1 more hour from 2. 1 more hour up from 2 would be 3. I can't forget my minutes, 3:05. I'm going to break this 15 minutes up into smaller pieces to work with. I'm going to break 15 up into 5 and 10. However, if you as a mathematician already know how to make the jump of 15 minutes, go ahead and do that. We're just different as learners, and it's okay to make the type of hops and jumps that work the best for you. I'm going to put an M for minutes. 5 minutes past 3:05. 5 more than 5 is 10. Now I need to make that last hop of 10 minutes to make my total 15. 10 and 10 makes 20, which means that the answer to my problem would be 3:20. Scaredy Squirrel finished cleaning up his birthday party at 3:20. I hope he had some help. Okay, here's our last problem, our last example for today. What if the start time is missing? Sometimes we don't always have our start time. When this happens, we have to work backwards. We use our elapsed time and end time to solve it. Scaredy Squirrel wants to be ready for his birthday party at 12:45. It will take him 30 minutes to get ready. What time would he need to begin? Here is how we could solve it. Let's take a look at the information that is important to us in this problem. Our end time is 12:45. Our elapsed time is 30 minutes. That's how long it's going to take him to get ready. That means we have to work backwards to figure out what our start time is. I'm going to clear my whiteboard. My first step is to create my number line. Whoops. Okay, here's the information that we know. We know what our end time is. Our end time is 12:45. We also know our elapsed time. Our elapsed time is 30 minutes. We need to start by making those hops or jumps backwards from 12:45 to get to our start time. I'm going to split my 30 up into 10-minute increments or 10-minute jumps to make this work easier for me as a mathematician. Don't forget to make your notes on your number line. 10 minutes before 12:45. I need to go backwards 10 from 45. 45 minus 10 would get me to 35. 10 more minutes. 35 minus 10, oh, I better put an M there so I know it's minutes and not hours, would be 12:25. Okay, I've got 10:20. I need 10 more minutes to get to my start time. 12:25, 25 minus 10 will get me to the total of 15. That means Scaredy Squirrel, if he wants to be ready for his birthday party by 12:45 and it's going to take him 30 minutes to get ready, he needs to get started at 12:15. Today, third graders, your independent practice will be on Google Classroom and it will be called Elapsed Time Practice. If you would like to use that whiteboard app that I was using during our lesson, you'll click this link on the very first slide. However, if paper works better or if you have a whiteboard at home, either of those options are just fine. You will have 3 problems. The first problem, you're working to find the elapsed time. So you'll be able to put your start time and your end time on your number line. You'll make the jumps to figure out how much time happens in between. Your answer to how much time happens in between will go here in this text box that says type here. You can delete the part that says type here and then put your answer instead. Your second problem says to find the end time. To find the end time, you'll place your start time on the number line. You'll make those hops of 45 minutes to figure out what time it will be when Scaredy Squirrel finishes baking his birthday cake. So when you go to type your answer will be a time. You'll delete this type here and put the time there instead. Your last problem, you'll work backwards from your end time. You'll make your hops backwards to figure out what your start time is. When you get your answer, it will be a time. You'll delete this type here and put your answer there instead. I am so excited to see the work that you do. I hope you have an awesome day. Bye, third graders.